Everyone, welcome to this webinar, Women at Events, How to Deliver a Top Quality Experience. We are very happy to address this subject today. It's a subject that we hold very close to our heart. As you, I think, all know, women represent 50% of the world population. So by definition, they are a major potential and audience for any kind of events, whether it's music festivals, concerts, sports events. And there are also, especially for sports events, growing audience. They hold a major potential for those events. They, as individuals, they have interest in any kind of sports, whether it's Formula One competition, soccer competition, long distance races. So it's really important to address them, and there is no reasonable explanation why events organizers wouldn't address them in their communication, or wouldn't have them in mind and have quality in mind when they're building an event. So I let, of course, our speakers develop on the subject. I'm very happy to introduce today Nathalie Desinard, our CEO and founder of Madame P, who is also an enthusiastic runner and festival lover. Ninon Larcher, also a festival lover. Nidia Reati, who is an enthusiastic runner. Eve Navarre, a proud marathon finisher. And Lucie Damboucher, a multi-talented, I would say, culture expert. So, of course, don't hesitate to interrupt if you have any question. You have a chat on the right of your screen. You can ask any question. I'd be happy to voice them for you. And of course, Q&A is in order at the end of the session for any question. Without further ado, I let Nathalie tell us and share with us her vision of the state of the market. Nathalie.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, everyone. I am Nathalie Desinard. I am the founder and CEO of Madame P, which I founded 4 years ago, exactly today. So it's indeed the fourth anniversary of Madame P today. And for the quick history, Madame P was born at a festival in France near Paris, and because it's a festival where I experienced queuing during more than 30 minutes for the toilets, while my male companion waited less than 2 minutes, as usual, I would say, and I missed 30 minutes of the concert I was coming for because I was queuing for the toilet. And in the meantime, my guy friend had the time to take a beer and to go to the concert. So this situation, annoying situation, the least to say, was the first, I would say, stone of Madame P, as the question came up is, why was I queuing so long compared to my guy friends? And the answer was because they had more than 50% more toilets at their disposal, thanks to the male urinals, notably, and because precisely they had urinals which allow them a quick service just to pee. So Madame P female urinal idea was born at that time on the idea and the conviction that it's up to the infrastructures to adapt to the woman and not the other way around, which is often the case, unfortunately, still. So this was indeed the start of Madame P's mission, is how to offer a quality sanitary experience for women in events and more generally in public space, because unequal access to toilets in public space is a marker of the place given to women in public space. Therefore, my conviction is that toilets are definitively a crucial matter. So compared to 4 years ago, what is the situation today? Interesting to see how it moved. And hopefully, good news is that things are starting to change to improve the way women are welcomed in events. And thanks to what? Thanks to several reasons. First, the event organizers are getting aware that toilets are at stake when it comes to the overall experience of an event goer, and even more when it is a woman event goer. And the second point is that in more or less 10 years, the events are attracting more and more women. And for instance, if we talk about marathon, the participation rate of women is increasing 5 times faster than the participation rate of men. The third point is the fact that today nearly 60% of the festival goers are women, so festivals are more and more feminine. And last point is that even the big events such as Formula One or rugby or soccer or others, which are mostly with a male audience so far today and so far, they are also trying to increase their feminine audience, as women represent a very important economic windfall. Good to realize. So, as far as Madame P is concerned, our commitment is for women to reappropriate the public space through the issue of toilets, which is central. So what does it mean in events? It means that women should have the same access to toilets as men have. So meaning the same access to quick services with female urinals and the same number of facilities for them, so that women can enjoy themselves at events instead of waiting for the loos, which is not a great occupation when we are at events. So what is important to be reminded is that no solution can be deployed on their own, meaning that, well, for our urinals, as equal and safe as they are, if they are displayed in the wrong location, the experience will not be matched. So once again, the success of the overall experience of women at events is composed by several aspects: the facilities, the security, the representation, and the general management of event. So that being said in introduction, I would like to ask our guests your experience and feedbacks in events, starting with you, Nino. And as I know you enjoyed a lot of music festivals all over the world, according to your experience at these festivals, do you think they are woman friendly?
Yes, so to introduce myself, thank you, Sarah. I'm Ninon and I'm 26. And yes, I went to several festivals in France and abroad, like in Barcelona. For instance, it was Sala Montjuic Outdoor Festival, which is a free event that takes place every year, an outdoor festival. I went to some festival in Marseille too, and in Paris last year. And I think with my 26-year-old point of view, it's not often female friendly. I think for the first one, for my first festival, I was just like, super happy and super excited to be there. And I wasn't paying attention to some details. But thinking back on it, I noticed and I am used to notice some details that are not actually details. Um, for instance, as you said it, Natalie, there is always a super long queue for female waiting lines. And so you are always missing on good music compared to your male friends, for instance. And that's why sometimes I'm thinking I have to limit myself on beverage to avoid going to the toilets too often, unfortunately. And another point really important for me during the festival is the fact that there are always or really often poor condition of toilets infrastructures. And I think about especially the infrastructures when I went to the Madame Royale Festival in Paris in 2021 during the summer. For instance, there were just a few toilets for too many girls. The lock were sometimes broken, so it was I was always in a hurry to pee. And there was no more toilet paper. But during festival, it's always just a detail. The fact that there are no more toilet paper. It's more the fact that when you can use toilet paper, you're just so happy, and I think it's not really normal. And I think. One of the most important aspects for me, and as you said it too, Natalie, it's about the security when you're just enjoying a festival as a woman. Because as a girl, when I go to the toilets, I'm always asking to my friends to go with me because I don't want to go to the toilet alone. And it's always a lot of constraints because I'm always asking myself, where do I put my bag? Where do I put my jacket? Where do I put my beers eventually? So I'm always asking a lot of questions just to go to the toilet. And some festival, and it's often the case when you're going to festivals during the summer. It's often open air festival. It often happens in fields, which can be in a long distance to access from public transportation. It was the case for Madame Royale Festival in Paris. It was like 1 hour from Paris in a bus, I think. And so sometimes I can be insecure to go there if I'm alone. And yes, I always ask my friends to text me when I walk to the toilet. And yeah, I'm not always feeling really safe. And I think the last point, which is really important to me, and I think it's really important for really women, is the fact that as a girl, I'm often approached by men during events, and sometimes in a very real way. So I don't always feel people pay attention around to harassment of this kind, maybe because they are just enjoying the music, or maybe just because there are not too many prevention during festival and before and after festival. So I think yes, there are a lot of differences from my male friends when I go to festival, and unfortunately, I can say that as I grow older, I go to this festival with all those things in mind, and I think now the experience is less innocent and naive, if I can say that, than when I went to my first festival as a 19 or 18-year-old girl, and I think that's not normal, and yes, it's not really normal.
Yeah, yeah. From what you're saying, all those experience kind of gave you a bad feeling about your safety, your overall experience, and you grew more aware of that, and maybe it tarnished a little bit the excitement before an event, because those things like
Yes.
and security issues, facilities, and so on will or might be a problem from all of the things that you've said. Is there like things or actions like you'd like festivals or in general event organizers to do? Like, do you have ideas? Do you have things you would like to see more or less in the coming years?
Yes, yes. I think I would feel safer and maybe enjoy the festival more itself if some points like the cleaning of infrastructures were more developed. Like for instance, just the fact that it can be toilet paper every time, the fact that doors can be always well closed, or the fact that it can have just toilets with lights. It can be a detail, but it's not actually. Because I think I feel a little bit more welcoming if there are all these details. And I think yes, one of the most important things is maybe if there were a security system that can ensure maybe that can, for instance, ensure the waiting lines, and the fact that they are just checking if the material and the infrastructure are respected, and if just check if everything is okay for girls.
Yeah.
And maybe if they are just like a charter of good conduct. For instance, when you are registering for festival, and the fact that there can be just like posters of good shots can be exposed during the events
Yeah.
at some strategic touch points.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, like to say some general ground rule
Yes,
for everyone, so everyone can have a better and enjoy their experience. So, well, thank you a lot, Ninon, for your insights on the experience of a girl at a music festival. uh, I'm going to ask Nidia. We talked about festivals and music, but events are not only music and festival. There can be sports events like marathon and long distance or short distance actually races. Can you tell us what is it to be a woman and those kind of races?
Yes, of course. Hello, everybody. My name is Nidia. I'm half Italian, half Mexican, and I've been living in France since 2012, so it would be 10 years. And my experience as a runner is mostly in France, in the races around Paris. I haven't run, and I know there's someone here that could give the experience on full marathons. I haven't run marathons. I reached the half marathon. It's already a big achievement for me. But yeah, having said so, the overall experience in short, let's say 5-10 kilometers races in Paris or in the region, I started, and this is something that we already mentioned with Sarah. I started first as for fun, let's say, with friends, and the first race that I wanted or feel like running was a female race, so it was just for women in Paris. And the experience was actually great. I mean, I felt safe. Urinals, yes, it's always the same, let's say, issue. There's not enough, and it requires a lot of preparation in advance to know, strategically at what time. It's either before starting the race that I should go. It's in the middle. How many toilets are available all along the distance of the race. But in general, my two experiences in only female races has been a good, let's say, a positive experience in terms of safety of toilets, of organization itself. But it made me feel like wanting to try mixed races, right? Bigger races or longer distance races. And therefore, I joined several of these races. And yes, once you understand how it works when also male runners are there, you see exactly what Ninon also mentioned in festivals, right? When I go to a race, usually in the morning, I have let's say I have to take care a lot of logistics prior to the race. I try to limit the amount of water or coffee or tea that I take because I don't want to spend time queuing for the toilet, and I don't run for performance, so I don't have a time in mind. I always run for fun. So that's, I think it's something that Eve will touch, because when you have a time or a record that you have in mind, it's even more I think the time that you have to invest in these logistics, right, especially in long distance races. For me, it's that the difference, right? I run with my husband, with other male friends, and they just, put the like shorts on, their sneakers, and they go and they run. They don't even know where is the toilet, if there's a snack break, if there's like other thing that we need to take into account if we want to have the same experience, right, in terms of quality. So changes, I mean, since the first race I did was in 2014, and the last one was September last year. So changes, I can see the word changes, let's say positive improvements in the amount, for instance, of toilets that you can find at the beginning before starting the race, right? But once you start, especially in long distance races, you feel like, okay, now where is my next one in case I need to go, right? And I've seen, as we were talking before, Sarah, I've seen either male and female peeing during the race without getting into a toilet, right? Because, I mean, at some point, if you go for performance, you need to do it, right? So it doesn't bother me, but it shouldn't be like this, either for male or for female. So there's an overall, I think, organization issue sometimes in the very let's say races with a lot of participants and long distance again. But yes, I've seen some changes. And in my last race last year, I tried Madame P, and I could tell that it's a different experience, right? Because the line was very short. It was faster to get in and get out. There was toilet paper, which was the first remark that I made. I was like, "Oh, there's toilet paper, good." And yeah, it could change. It could change definitely the experience. There's less time that you spend queuing. You know that you will be, like there will be quality in the service, and it's something that could change your perception of the overall experience. Yes, I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. It's funny how your first reaction going into a MNMP was funny. There is toilet paper, and it's something. It's like Nino was saying. It's a detail, but it's not. And little detail like that, like going on a race, especially long distance, and especially if you're reaching and aiming for a performance, you shouldn't have to think of all the things you just say. You should just be focused on your race and your running, and no, you're not. You're trying to understand how is the trackman, where are the toilets, what are you gonna do, and even you deprive yourself of water, or maybe a little coffee boost in the morning, because if you do so, it's going to be a problem later during the race. So I think it's really sad, and I think Eve has a better experience of very long distance races, and talking with you earlier this week, you were saying that if you aim for a performance, you could really ruin your timing and waiting for the toilets, which is not fair, I would say.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Clearly, it's a topic you need to address before starting the race. So there are lots of things you need to think about before the race. But clearly, where will I? How should I? How much should I drink before starting the race? Where could I? Because at some point in time, I will need to pee. Where could I do that? So this kind of clearly. It is a subject before the race, and you often have to look for a solution. A quick solution. You have to fix I would say the problem in a very short period of time, and usually you don't have any solution just in front of you. So I remember this image of when I ran the Paris Marathon. After something like 10 kilometers, we reach Vincennes, and remember this image of men aligned along the track and having a pee break. And I was looking for a solution for myself. I clearly couldn't do the same. So and I remember toilets. There were toilets just at Vincennes, and I remember this long long list of people waiting, of women waiting for toilets. So it's a key problem, because they had to wait. I don't know how much time, because I didn't stop. Actually, I said I'll stop later. But, it can clearly ruin your performance, because when you do such a long race, it's usually for performance, and waiting for toilets can be long, must be too long anyway. So.
Yeah, sure. And even more as I think on the starting line, once you're waiting for your time to start the race, there is no toilet. I think there are toilets in the village.
That's a key issue. Yeah, that's a key issue as well. Yeah, because when you do such a long race, you have to get prepared, to wake up early, to drink a lot, you need to be early in the starting track. So you need to wait a lot, before starting the race. And when I run the marathons, I didn't have any toilets at the beginning of the. There were no toilets at the beginning of the race, and that was really a problem. Yeah, because you need to warm up. You need to be there at least 1 hour before the beginning of the race, and during that time, you should be able to go to the toilets.
Yeah, it really ruined the experience and the performance. So it's really a shame. And the solution is not that complicated, like just putting toilets at the start and then at several more like strategic points of the track.
Yeah. Or
But
maybe just a clear mapping of where we could.
yeah, P mapping. Yeah, that's a good idea. A P mapping. Well, thank you, Eve, and Lydia, for those insights on how it is to run such races and how it can be a burden. Like you should only focus on the race and not on your bladder. So it's kind of a shame. Well, I give the mic to Lucy now, who is working backstage, I would say. Organize and think and about events and what's come backstage, I would say. So Lucy, we know that with Me Too and all the other thing that came after, the festival and event industry were quite shaken, because we know there are lots of issues and security issue, I would say. So can you tell us about what it is and how events respond today to that issue?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same abroad, but in France, it's common to say that there has been a speech liberation. Like if victims and professionals just open themselves with their situations with the Me Too movement. Actually, to my point of view, it would be more accurate to say that people finally listened, which is completely different. Because actually you can't wait for someone to talk to you if they know you won't listen what they have to say. And I think that this has been the reality of so many women and men assaulted in their experience with festival as festival goers, but also as festival professionals. So I can say that things have changed. If you need some concrete examples, because I'm a tutor, a trainer, I have to follow up on each and every examples that I can give to my students on how things are actually changing. And I could say that some male professionals in labels, so in the record music industry, but also in music venues and festivals, have been fired due to their sexist behavior. As a personal experience, I worked last summer for a festival that just had signed and shared a charter on prevention and how to deal with sexism and sexual harassment and violence. And actually, the festival encountered a situation in terms of how would you say that? The caterer, the catering manager, was really misogynist with females and females volunteers. So it was difficult situations, even for the male volunteer, because he tried to make them as an ally for his specific way of seeing world. And it wasn't my team. I was in the box office, so I just observed how the organizer dealt with this situation, and it was impressive to see that they really addressed the problem directly. Actually, they removed all volunteers from this team, considering the professional didn't listen, didn't update his behavior with the decision of the charter. That the people were not okay with the situation, and so the director protected the volunteers, and it was like, you know, moving to see that a festival was able to pay attention and to take the words of the volunteers in consideration, because it was not really the usual way of dealing with that kind of things, to my 15 years of experience. If you observe the professional, I think most women know what's at stake. It's more difficult, you have to say, for men to move on, because once you've heard the horrible testimonies, well, shit happens, you know, that the kind of message I'm used to hear. And it's difficult for men, for professionals that I talk with, to go further than the usual position. I don't rape, I don't aggress, so this is not my business. This is not my my fight, you know. I think there is some classical denial and a really big need for a whole generation of male directors and managers to retire, because for them it's too late. They will never understand, and they will never become a part of the solution. They are part of the problem, sadly. But on the other hand, on an optimistic point, I noticed that this security question is not a big deal at all for new professionals, men and women. The young ones, the fact that women should feel safe when they get out, when they enjoy a festival or a marathon, just not being harassed, it's a basic thing for them. So I think the situation will move on with the generation shift, you know. About the general woman experience, I think it's fair to say that big sports and festival events have been created by men for men. Even in an unconscious way. It's not a mean thing, but actually this is the way thing goes. So women bear, actually, Nidia Ninon told it better than I do, women bear some pressure that men don't have to deal with. The waiting queue on toilets, the fact not to be drunk in order to stay safe, not to lose your friends in order to stay safe, pay attention to people around you to avoid harassment. That this is a situation that most men don't experience, and it's quite unfair. There was a good dynamic in festival in 2019 about prevention of sexist and sexual violence, that consisted in training the professionals, I mean, but also a big communication plan dedicated, addressed to the audience. And sadly, COVID stopped all of it. So I'm really optimistic that with this year, last year was a bit special, but this year I think we'll see this dynamic rise again, because things have changed with COVID, and the organizer have had the time to think and to rethink the way they do things.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that women that have specific needs and expectation. It's that the events have been created and designed and impose thing on them, and now there is an audience. There is a more aware public, and festivals, first of all, cannot not address such a situation. Like they I think will face huge consequences in terms of image and maybe not participation, but I think image is the least to say. And as you said, it takes a while to deconstruct all the biases of the industry, but the next generation of event organizers are also here to take the battle and change things. So it's really nice and optimistic to hear.
Yeah, it's quite a continuum. From toilets to lineup, women have to occupy their right place. And what's even better, if you think again, it's that improving women experience actually improves it for everyone. It's the same thing with disability. We always think about people with wheelchair, but what about people injured, people pregnant, just people being very old? When you move something for the wheelchair people, you move it for everyone.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Lucy, for this optimistic insights. Because as you were saying, and Ninon, Nydia, Eve, your experiences is a whole, and if we change something better for someone, and we are talking about women, we do improve for everyone, and so this is the good way of also selling it, because we were telling in introduction that a woman is a windfall. Okay, so this can be a trigger for events to take care and to improve things for women. But the most important thing is that when we do something better for a type of population, it is better for everyone. So I think this is the most optimistic lesson that I would grab from this discussion. And all what you said is exactly why we addressed, as far as Madame P is concerned, the issue of women in events. We focus on the toilets, and we explain why it's a crucial issue. But we do consider women in events on with the whole aspects, so security and representation, and the general manager to handle when there is a problem of harassment, as you were sharing. So, in fact, so we are on the way. This is the good news, and we hope that the coming summer season and its festivities will reflect the changes that we all want to see for women, and so I would conclude with a question for you, as this next summer's event season is coming. If you had a magic wand, what would you wish for?
Me, I think I wish to feel, as I said at the beginning of the webinar, completely safe at the festival, and just enjoy the festival like my male friends are used to, and not having to to ask myself all this question that I have.
Sorry.
No, you go, Nidia.
On my side, I think it would be not just for this summer, but generally speaking, with all the things that we already shared, having more inclusiveness at the time of the conception of any solution that we want to implement, right? As diverse and inclusive it could be, the thinking process while conceiving an idea, I think that could be a win-win situation for everybody.
To my point of view, I really sincerely hope that men would make this inclusivity issue theirs as much as women do. Because as we used to say in feminist movements, if men had their periods, they would be maybe more than a day off each and every month.
For sure.
For sure.
Eve, do you have a wish?
Yeah, I really like Lucy's conclusion, so I'd rather have her finish. But yeah, I would dream of having Madame B toilets spread all over the course of my next weeks.
Well, thank you. So I think we'll end the webinar of those on those beautiful wishes. Thank you all for your insightful intervention and well, everything that we said was very interesting, and I hope all the things that we wish for will happen. So we'll open to any question and maybe debate a bit more on what we'd like to see for those events and for this summer season, and maybe regarding on what will be said, we can say see you next year for a quick debriefing of what happened this summer, and if what we hoped for actually happened. But if you have any question, please feel free to ask, to take the mic, or to ask them in the chat. We had an interesting comment from Sebastian Ortiz Garcia, who said that municipalities are giving licenses for the events without taking into account the fact that the human, and that being said, women and men, body need to release every 4 hours in normal conditions. So we imagine that in an event, they drink a lot more, so probably more during a festival, and so events probably have to have that in mind when planning and choosing their facilities and infrastructure. I think that's what you wanted to say on that, Sebastian. Yeah, Sarah has a question, I think.
Can you see me?
Hi. Hi, Sarah. Do you have a question for us? No, I can't. Sorry. Maybe if you type it, I can maybe ask. Yeah. That's all right. Hi.
No,
Well, we can hear you now.
okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, hi.
Hi.
My name is Sara Frau, and I'm a sociologist. I live in Barcelona. I have built before the pandemic. I have built an experimental female urinals that I prefer to call vulva urinal, because the concept of belonging to a gender can be controversial. And so I wanted to raise the question of exposure in female urinal, vulva urinal, and intimacy, because the female urinal that I built in a festival called Nowhere, that is like Burning Man, wanted to be also an investigation about how much we are conditioned as a women to think that we have to hide when we pee. Because I see that, for example, Madame P and all these experiments still bring this concept that we have to close up when we pee, while male urinals have more exposure. I mean, often they can pee seeing each other and so on, either in festival or in public urinals. So it was a very interesting experiment, mine, because in my urinals there are 6 spots, and women can look at each other. Anyways, they are not. There is not a door that closes. And in the beginning, a lot of them were challenged about that, but then it turned out to be a very transformative experience. So it was, at the end, not only a functional thing, that they had a more hygienic space to pee, and it was faster and so on. But it was also an experiment in discovering how much we have been conditioned in thinking that we have some
maybe
needs,
Sarah,
but they are conditional needs. Like, I have to hide, or at least I have to go with a friend, but I can't
maybe you can maybe you can cut your camera, because the reception is not great. So I don't hear every single you say. Yeah.
And maybe the question is around the intimacy. Why intimacy for women and more than for men? If I understand well, Sarah. So the our experience and for nearly 5 years now is that women like to have and need their intimacy while peeing, because we undressed. That's a fact. And so the objective is to provide to women the infrastructure where they feel at ease and where they have the best experimentation. So we analyze that with hundreds of women, and the conclusion was that they needed intimacy. Well, the majority of women. I mean, obviously, some women is less important for some women, but the majority of women like to have intimacy. That's why this is we built Madame P like that.
Okay.
Do we have any other question, like to end the session? We have 5 minutes left. All right. So if there is no more question, I would like to thank everyone, speakers and attendees. Oh, we have something to say. Sebastian said that. We'd love to have some to have some insights on how collectivities and react and organize both their events and public space. I think that would be a great. I think that would be a great subject, and maybe it's a subject on its own, like how to organize the city and public spaces and outdoors events on the collectivities and cities point of view. That would be great. So thanks thank you for your attention and support. And we really hope that all the things we said today we'll see this summer during festivals, and we'll be happy to discuss it again at the end of the season, like in October or something like that, and to see what happened and how things changed, hopefully. So thanks a lot, and there will be a replay, and we'll be happy to chat if you want to contact us on our socials or our website. That would be a great pleasure. So thank you all, and have a good day.
And
Thank
let's
you. Bye.